All right, well, good afternoon to all of you. Owen Fritzen here with you on a, Wednesday afternoon. We do have a line of showers and storms that is crossing into northwest Ohio right now. Coming live for you to kind of give you a look at this. Right now, we're not seeing any type of tornado warnings, but we are seeing a plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings that is tracking across northwest Ohio. At this point, we do have some storms that are a little bit on the stronger side with some hail and some gusty winds up to about 60 miles an hour at this point. So again, coming live to give you a little bit of an update here. Not going to overhype the situation, but we do again have this line of showers and storms that is starting to cross over here into northwest Ohio, getting ready to come into the Toledo metro area here in a few minutes and start to get into more of north central Ohio. This line keeps continuing to progress as it's pushed off here towards the east, and we do have a tornado watch that was issued, and I'll put that on the screen here and right now. So I'll zoom out. Anywhere you see in this yellow box, you are under a tornado watch until 7 o'clock tonight. So this kind of lines up right with the target area of the slight risk area today, especially in kind of that north central Ohio. That's kind of the concentrated area where we're looking for the possibility of tornadoes. So they went ahead and issued a tornado watch tonight. Now, the good thing is, like I said, there is no tornado warnings right now that are active at this point. But again, we do have a plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings here. So let's go ahead and get started here, kind of roll through these storms one by one, and we'll look at it moving down. Now, for some of you probably asking about your town in particular, not much to offer you. I mean, we're pretty much got to look at the radar here, and if you're in anywhere in that yellow, lightish yellowish box, almost a greenish box, you are under a tornado watch until 7 p.m. Now, as this line starts to move through, we should be pretty much done with the possibility of severe weather for your area. So it's going to move through, and it's going to move through fairly quickly, and once it does, it should pretty much be over, and you'll see that watch start to drop off. Now, it's kind of odd here. We have a different watch up here. We have a severe thunderstorm watch for portions of Michigan, and they have actually had some tornado warnings up there already. We, at this point in our area, have had 0 tornado warnings as of right now. So let's first of all take you here into northwest Ohio. Let's zoom in here to Toledo in that area. We do have a couple storm cells that are approaching the Toledo, Bowling Green area, Perrysburg, and some of those areas. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here for you. Let's start off with this first cluster out near Napoleon. So this first severe thunderstorm warning that you have goes until 3 o'clock. And this severe thunderstorm warning is for eastern Henry in northwest Ohio, southeastern Fulton County until 3 p.m. So that's the first one, and this has about 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with it, is being the indication there for it. They don't seem to indicate any rotation on this particular cell, which is a good thing, although we do have some rotation starting to creep up here in some of this southern cell. Now, the next severe thunderstorm warning for Lucas, Wood, and Hancock counties that we have here on the screen, that goes until 3:30. So right now they got this clocked at about 25 miles an hour, and I think it's moving a little bit faster than that. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail have been indicated in this particular storm cell. And let's go ahead and keep creeping down towards the south. We'll go down towards Lima first. And first of all, in Lima, so if you're in southern Putnam County or Allen County, let's go ahead and bring that up here. If you're either in this area, which is southern Putnam or Allen County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, again for 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts until 2:45. Let's go down here to the Ada, McGuffey, and Kenton area. This one over here, you have a severe thunderstorm warning here. And this is for Harding and Auglaize County. That goes until 3:15. So, again, plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings that are impacting our area right now. The main thing being is going to be large hail and damaging winds being the primary threat. And even in this northern portion here, we're not seeing as much hail, especially in extreme northwest Ohio, kind of approaching the Toledo area. We are seeing a lot of lightning with these storms as well, so you could be seeing some of that. And but again, mainly going to be kind of this wind threat that we're seeing right now. Let's flip over to the winds. Let's take a look here at what we're kind of seeing on radar with the wind threat. And let's go ahead and zoom in here. And what we're seeing, and let me pull that off, sorry about that. What you're seeing here in the winds, kind of everything is kind of being outbound wind right now, which is kind of a good thing. So we're kind of having a linear type storm, but it can indicate some very strong straight line winds that are possible here over the next several hours. So we're not indicating at this point too much rotation. Let's go ahead and flip over to storm relative velocity, and this kind of takes out the motion of the storm and gives us kind of that true look here at where rotation will be occurring. Nothing overly extravagant that sticks out right now, but we are keeping obviously an eye on a few different storm cells down near the Lima area earlier. We're kind of looking at that one. It had a little bit of rotation earlier, but it's since kind of cleaned its act up a little bit. But we are still looking and concerned with the straight line wind threat being the primary target right now. So this is kind of what we got going on, and we're also in this kind of this radar dead zone almost, because we're caught between two radar sites. So we're coming out of the one out of northern Indiana, and we do have one out of Cleveland. So it's starting really to approach the Cleveland area. Once we get into Wood County, Lucas County, Henry County, that's all the National Weather Service out of Cleveland. I just flipped over to the site out of Cleveland. You can see pretty much how well that doesn't show, in my opinion, what it should show. So that's kind of the difference here. So we're going to stick with northern Indiana for now, because it gives us a best look at this particular storm cell as this moves off here towards the east. So let's get a kind of a general thing here for you. This is I'm going to do a general track, and this is, again, take it with a grain of salt. It's not going to be 100% accurate because of the way the storm moving. I'm just going to do one big long track here. So I'm going to draw out this kind of this Boeing type structure. Oops, sorry about that. Let me clear that. I need to do this. Sorry about that. Need to do my line. There we go. So I'm going to do here, kind of draw out. Well, no, I'm not going to do it. See if I can get it to work for me. There we go. I'm going to kind of draw out this line, and it's moving at about 30 miles an hour right now, and these are just going to be really rough estimates. So if I take it out to about 30, here's kind of what our general timeline is. If you're in Tiffin, about 3:30, Upper Sandusky 3:24, Northwood at about 3:13. Findlay 2:39, so that's coming on your doorstep here fairly quickly on that leading edge of the particular storm cell. And Bowling Green 2:42, Maumee. So these are just generalized progressions here of when the main part of the storm is going to hit. As the radar updates, that actually gives us a lot better view of more estimated time that's better for you there. So you may be seeing it start to rain in those areas, but the most intense part of those thunderstorms are approaching your area kind of on those times that we're looking at. Now, we're also looking here down to our friends down here in Shelby County, Mercer County, and Darke County. We are keeping an eye on these. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in way down here. We are keeping an eye on a couple of these storms, especially down here in Shelby County, crossing over near Kettlersville. Wouldn't be surprised at that that one doesn't have a severe thunderstorm warning here very shortly. We're looking at those storms. So they have really, really dark purple returns on that, and we're getting some 1-inch hail markers. So we have to keep an eye on that one as well. And the nice thing is I can flip over to the terminal Doppler in Dayton. We can get a lot better view, and that's the one I was looking at earlier with some of the rotation on that. Get a lot better view down here of what's going on. So you can kind of see there. Again, let's turn those off. Let's not confuse you on the TVS markers. But there's some generalized rotation that was going on with these storms here a little bit earlier. And you can kind of see there's just some light rotation in some areas, but nothing overly concerning at the moment. So let's go ahead and flip back over to reflectivity, but we are watching those storms down there near Darke County and Shelby County that doesn't have a severe thunderstorm warning as of, and there it is. So speak of the devil, there we go. As of yet, but the one I thought they were actually going to warn would be this northern one, but they went ahead and issued here one now for the southern part of that storm in Darke County and portions of Shelby County. So this one coming out of here of near Versailles and Rossburg, near Eldora Speedway. That one's crossing over here into Shelby County momentarily. So they went ahead and issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for this one that goes until 3:15. So, and we're getting a good view of this one out of the terminal Doppler. And I would probably venture to say that, man, if this gets any stronger, especially here in the northern part of Shelby County, probably going to see another severe thunderstorm warning on that one as well, because it definitely has some decent winds with it. And also, we are looking at some good size hail with that as well. So let's go ahead and zoom back out. Let's take you back up here to the northern Indiana radar site and take a look here once again what we got going on. Let's flip over here to, I'm going to flip over to SRV real quick just to make sure, just to kind of give a general overview here of some of the rotation that's embedded with some of these storms. Not seeing a whole lot going on right now, which is a good thing. We do have to keep our eye down here. We are. This is the one that I keep watching here down near Eldora Speedway. So we are keeping a close eye on that one. That was the storm cell I kept my eye on earlier as it was crossing into Indiana. So if you're in our Indiana counties too, by the way, they did just trim back the tornado watch. The tornado watch you can see was dropped off of some of the Indiana counties in the northern part of the state, the northeast portion of Indiana. They have canceled the tornado watch for some of those because the storms are now well into Ohio. They will follow suit down here in southern Indiana as well as soon as these storms finally cross over into Ohio. So they're kind of trimming that watch back. So once it gets past you, it's pretty much going to be over for the day. And we're, again, starting to see some of these storms creep up here in the Lima area, getting some pretty strong returns that we're going to have to keep a very close eye on as well. But kind of the general risk here, if I zoom out and look at everything, the general risk here along this line is pretty much going to be straight line damaging winds today. We're having more of a linear threat. We could see some large hail. We do have a tornado watch. We're not seeing a lot in rotation, a couple areas, but nothing that's really standing out at the moment. So best thing is if you're downstream of this, if you're out ahead of this, you just need to make sure that you have a way to receive warnings and take shelter when you need to. At this point, you need to just get inside, stay away from windows as the severe thunderstorms pass, but don't let your guard down, especially. I do think we'll see maybe an isolated tornado possible today. There are some dynamic environment structures there I talked about this morning in my discussion early this morning that kind of limiting some of that tornado factor a little bit. But there is just enough of this instability and shear that it probably can tap into here a little bit here in just a little bit later this afternoon that could have a few tornadoes going downstream of this. So kind of the generalized summary here. You can kind of see this line kind of extending back here from Sydney all the way to Toledo. This is that nice big line that's starting to bow just a little bit. So again, we're going to keep an eye on that as well. So I wanted to come live. I don't know how long I'm going to stay live here for just a minute. I just wanted to come live to quickly kind of say, hey, this is what's going on. We are watching these. Again, not overhyping the situation. We don't want to overhype it for you. But if you're downstream of this again, too, make sure as we head into the evening hours, this can be a long evening for some. And I'm actually off here about 5 o'clock. And then I believe Ken McNatt takes over. Brant Warren, Ken McNatt, or one of the other folks there take over this evening. But let's take a look here, too, real quick. I'll show you this, the convective outlook. I'll kind of overlay this. You can see the bright yellow area, that's the slight risk. I'll zoom out a little bit more. That's the slight risk area, so don't let your guard down. That's the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center. So even our friends in the Mid-Ohio Valley, I have this live on your page as well. Don't forget about later this evening, you have the potential of seeing some storms that could have a few stronger storms that could be severe. So don't let your guard down there. The entire risk shifted north just a little bit. Early this morning, my first discussion, it was just the complete southern tip down here in Lawrence County that was only under marginal. They did shift this a little bit. Cincinnati pretty much is now out of that slight risk. They went into the marginal risk category here for the rest of the evening. So that's kind of what we got going on. And I'll also flip on here real quick. We do have a few reports here. I'll turn on the storm reports coming out of up here in the northern portion of Ohio in Williams County. We do got a couple reports there of severe damage to a home. We're not 100% sure. They're going to classify that as wind damage at the moment. So let's see here. We have two that are kind of blended in there. Severe damage to a home. No other information is available at this time. Okay, that's one marker. Never mind. So we'll have to wait and see what that one was. And that was with that storm cell that's coming into Toledo right now. And then we have large hail that was reported back here in Indiana. Over in Blackford County here in Indiana. So we're keeping an eye on all of this, and again we're kind of going into this radar dead zone. So you got to remember that we're looking very high in the atmosphere here, so this is going to be a little bit more intense towards the ground. I'm going to flip over to Cleveland once again, see if it even has a better shot yet as it's starting to cross into their territory here into Wood County and Lucas County. We'll kind of see here as it loads up, kind of still showing the same thing. Even down here in Lima, though, it is still starting to be pretty intense for you guys just south of Lima there in Wapak and just outside of Wapak in Auglaize County. So that's a pretty intense return for you, especially coming out of the Cleveland site. It's a long distance from that radar site, so heads up to you. You're probably seeing some large hail with that. It's very strong winds. So kind of generally looking at this here as we continue to progress, this leading edge, you're going to kind of see this gust front and this leading edge come through, and then more of the intense part of the storm is going to be towards the trail end of the storm for some of you. So let's flip back over real quick here. I'll flip back over to velocity so you can kind of see what we're looking at here. That's whopper-jawed. We have a bad return on that one. I'm not sure what happened there. Let me flip that back over to 0.9. So we're looking here a little bit higher in the atmosphere, but you kind of see where we're at with some of the winds and some of the embedded stuff here. Let's go ahead and flip back over here to 0.5 and see if that comes up as, yeah, it's still coming up as a little screwy. We got must have a bad return here at this point. But we are, again, watching some generalized and broad rotation here. If we keep pointing and I'm going up throughout the atmosphere is what I'm doing, so I'm kind of slicing through the storm. We keep seeing some generalized rotation right here in the northern part of Hancock County. So we are going to keep a very close eye on that storm cell right outside of the town of North Baltimore right now in this general area. So I keep seeing that as I slice through the storm. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Not saying anything's going on right now, but it's definitely an area worth watching and keeping an eye on at the moment. Let's flip back over here to reflectivity, kind of show you the intense portion of the storm. If I'm looking at reflectivity too, I'm definitely going to keep an eye here, North Baltimore. My eye continues to watch that storm, and we did have one down here in southern portion of Ohio too, which we'll have to flip over to Wilmington, but their site is down right now. But we do have terminal Doppler on this one here in Dayton that we can look at, and we are keeping an eye on this one here near Versailles. And Asonia, we're watching that one as well. If I flip over to velocity, it looked a little bit better a few scans ago, but we're keeping an eye on that one here as well. So with that general thing here, I'm going to kind of recap the severe thunderstorm. I'm going to recap the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have going on right now, and not sure how long I'm going to stay live, because, again, it's generalized risk here of strong winds as these approach your area. So I'm flipping back over here to, let's go ahead and flip back over to Cleveland and look at the reflectivity. So we got basically 3 severe thunderstorm warnings on the board at the moment. We have the one that encompasses Lucas, Wood, and Hancock counties. And this one goes, again, until 3:30. And if we come down here, we have our next warning that encompasses portions of Auglaize County and Harding County, and this one goes until 3:15. And then the newest one that was issued down here for portions of Shelby County, Miami County, and Darke County, that goes until 3:15 as well. So as these storms come through, I'm going to say that, hey, you're going to have some strong winds and potentially some larger hail, especially we're seeing some of those returns. And we do have that chance of some rotation that we're watching. Nothing too prominent right now that's sticking out to anything to us at the moment. So that's a good thing that we're seeing right now. Now, don't let your guard down. If you're once this is past you, so some of these counties you can see started to drop out of the tornado watch, especially northern Indiana. Even these ones in extreme northwest Ohio, those will start to fall off as this line gets through. But if you're out ahead of this, anywhere in this yellow area, out ahead of this to Cleveland, down to Columbus, down to even the northern part of Cincinnati, Kings Island, Dayton, you're under a tornado watch until 7 p.m. tonight. So don't let your guard down. Make sure you have a way to receive warnings, especially as we go through the next several hours and we head into the afternoon. There is, as we head into the evening hours, we start to approach the evening hours, there is some energy out ahead of this that we're going to have to keep an eye on, because if it matriculates, we could see some spin-up tornadoes here this afternoon out ahead of this. Now, along this line, we are keeping an eye on some areas of concern, and we're continuing to watch that here on the other side. I got another screen that I'm watching. I continue to watch that one in Hancock County moving into Wood County. I continue to watch that one to see what it's doing. But we do have a few areas there of some minor rotation that we're looking at, that we're keeping a close eye on. And let me see something here. I'm going to flip over, look at something here that you can't see on the back side of things. Just want to check this. Yeah. Okay. All right. Just checking, making sure I'm not totally round the bend, if you will. Yeah, I keep going back here to looking at that one in Lima, but I also am looking at a little bit of rotation that keeps popping its little head up there in Auglaize County. This one down here. So we're keeping an eye on that one, and I'll show you what I'm looking at here. And that's, again, I don't know if I can flip to them or not. Let's see if their site's loading now. Yeah, it is. Perfect. But we got terminal Doppler too. I could switch to. Let me do that. Yeah, keep watching here near Auglaize County, Wapakoneta. It continues to. Let me drag it up here. This one right here near Wapakoneta and Waynesfield. Keep watching this general area for the possibility here of some rotation. And on this scan, it's gone, but a couple scans ago it was there. So we're keeping an eye on that, and we're continuing to do that here for you. And I don't want to stay on forever here, but I just wanted to come live and tell you, hey, this is what's going on right now. This is kind of the situation. A lot of severe thunderstorm warnings right now with more of straight line damaging winds and maybe some large hail. We're not even picking up on some of that hail that we were once before, but we're continuing to keep an eye on that one here. Let me flip over to Nomad's data here, data source. All right. Perfect. All right. So general thing is I'm going to turn off the watches here. But again, if you're along this line, out ahead of this line, once it's past you, it's pretty much going to be over for the day. But if you're along this line, you're going to expect some gusty winds. Even out front of this, you're going to start to see that gust front arrival be a little bit gusty, and then some of the more intense portion of the storm is going to be kind of here on the backside. So again, we're keeping an eye on this, and you got to remember kind of where you're looking right now on your screen is we're kind of caught between radar sites here. So we're looking 5,000 feet or so above the atmosphere. So it's going to be a little bit more intense towards the ground. So it comes back to radar fundamentals there that we're keeping an eye on. But we're here, we're watching it, and we will continue to come back live as we need to throughout the afternoon. And I know I'm off at 5, and then we do have other forecasters and meteorologists ready to take over here for the evening shift as it approaches here throughout the northeastern portion and part of East Central Ohio as well. So until then, make sure you have a way to receive warnings. You can download our app, Ohio News and Weather. You can find that in the App Store or the Google Play Store. You can download that free of charge. That's one way you can get warnings, or there's several others. But make sure you just have a way to receive warnings here this afternoon, and enjoy some of the weather, especially if you're out ahead of this right now, because it's been beautiful outside in the 70s, and dew points are continuing to max out as well. So a little bit sticky, but it's been a decent day outside for most. So enjoy the weather if you can, if you're not in any one of these areas. All right, and if you do have any pictures or anything, if you download the app, you can submit those to us as well. We do appreciate those if you do that through the app. It helps us tag those and reference those as well. So with that being said, we'll continue to come back here live as needed. Again, download the app in the App Store if you want to. You can track rain forecasts and more, and then be sure to continue to follow along with us here, and we'll continue to come back here live.